64 days until Antarctica. I can't believe how fast it is coming. So today I'm going to continue talking a little bit about trip planning. I might get into some details about this trip, but I thought about um, talking about planning around, a big specific event for a trip. For me, it's the boat to Antarctica. I've done trips in the past where it was planned around hiking to Machu Picchu, the San Fermines Festival in Spain, the running of the bulls. It's like, okay, I want to go and see these specific things, or this is what we're doing at this specific date, and what are we going to do around that? So that is often one of my starting points for a trip. Instead of starting at the beginning, I start from this event that I'm going to do and then plan around that. So far, all the trips that I've done, the big event hasn't been at the beginning. It hasn't been the first thing that I've done when I've got somewhere, or else I would start at the beginning. But I find that it's helpful to, okay, where is this event that you're going to? And where is that in relation to all the other things that you want to do? Right? All the things that I talked about yesterday, the locations, the length of time you want to stay in those places, all that will come into play here if you have an event that you're planning around, right? So maybe your event is one day, maybe it's 4 days, maybe it's 10 days, maybe it's longer. But knowing that in advance of when that date is can be helpful. And then working backwards or working forwards from your arrival date, either one kind of works. And you can just say, okay, I want to I'll maybe go to this one place before I do that big event, or maybe I can fit in 2 or 3 places before that event, or maybe based on travel time and accommodations and flight schedules, you can only fit in one or something like that. So that's probably the where I would start after you have the big event picked out. Start at the beginning. For me, in this particular trip, I kind of changed it around from how I originally planned, because this trip has kind of been in the works since 2020-ish, which this might be a whole nother video of, I've known about this trip probably the longest I've ever known about a trip. I mean, it's gotten postponed over and over. But I actually am like leaving the planning to last minute. Like, I'm still actually doing almost all of the planning except for the Antarctica portion of this trip. So it's kind of funny. So sorry, I lost my train of thought when I was thinking about this trip getting rescheduled. So maybe I'll just talk about that and let the thought come back to me. Originally, I had scheduled it for March of 2021, and I scheduled that, early to summer of 2020. Actually, it was before I was even dry suit certified, so it was before the summer of 2020. And then obviously, like later in the year, I think it was October, November, that it got canceled because of COVID. And then the following year, there was just no sailings. And then the following year would be 2023, and there was not a lot of options available. They were still unsure if they'd be doing some sailings, and there wasn't any available for diving. And then same for the 2024 season. There was nothing available for diving. And then, so basically I got on the first available ship that had a spot for diving, which was 2025, January. So like I said, I've known about this trip for a really long time, but it got postponed multiple times, and now it's less than 2 months out, and I'm like, oh wow, that really snuck up on me. I don't know how that happened. I was focused on a lot of other things. Okay, back to the trip planning. So planning around the big event, starting at the beginning, determining how much time you need in each place and how much you can fit in before you get to that big event. And then on the other side of that big event, how much time do you have? Where will you be? Where are you in proximity to the other things that you want to do and see? And how much time do you have left? Where are your return flights from? All of those things are things that you need to think about when planning something like this. I think I'm going to leave it at that for today and talk more about the actual planning of this trip that I'm doing right now, since it's literally like live happening in the moment. and leave that for another day. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you're enjoying these little tips and insights into things that I've done and how I do things, and how you might be able to do things for yourself. See you again tomorrow, and thanks for joining me on day 64.